Brook says he's the only one in this condition. And now he brings up his mother, his father, and his brother, which we even know he had a brother. And they don't clarify. We're assuming they are gone. They passed, and Brook is the only one who survived. But again, what happened to them? That because they never said that Brook always been in poverty. It could have been something happened where he lost his father and his mother and his brother that led him to this tragedy.
I actually give a lot of respect for Prince Reuven and what he's doing here. One, it shows a lot of humility here, but it reminds me of one of those ruling figures that kind of like disguise themselves as one of the locals to see how the locals are living to, in a way, better take care of them.
I feel the same way as Lawrence, yo. I know I'm praising Ruven like crazy, but I do have to acknowledge that this man definitely turned around and shared alcohol with an 11-year-old. I mean, maybe I should dial back on the good king agenda just a little bit.
So it's a good man, Savannah.
It's a good king, Savannah.
Good man.
There's a kingdom that's, flourishing. You always see poverty on the other side. It's like it's a running thing with the One Piece world. They always have the aspect. And I wonder where Oda got the idea from that, that thought process. I don't know how many kingdoms are like that. I don't know. But it's like Luffy's kingdom was like that. Dressrosa. Actually, Dressrosa was the only one that wasn't actually like that, to my knowledge. But seeing Brook's flashback, I just thought of, again, you already know, we thought of Ace, Luffy, Sabo. I thought of them immediately. Brook is by himself. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. When I first saw the king, did he not look a little like Rocks for a second?
A little.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Because the hair, how Rocks' hair is back and the face or whatever. I saw Blackbeard a little bit and Rocks at the same time. And I'm thinking, I know there can't be any relation to them, but I just thought of both of them. Larry didn't get that crazy far, but their relationship a little bit kind of reminds me of Kairos and Riku. A younger but different version of it. I thought of those two flashbacks in my head. I actually got a little confused because I know he's royalty because it was so vague of what was going in his mind on him, the food that Brook compared him, because there's no dialogue, whatever. So I'm thinking, is he feeling remorse for Brook? Did he leave Sabo left? Because I don't know. I got a little confused. So maybe you guys can clarify.
I feel like Larry did a good job clarifying what at least my thought process was on Ruven here about he had never really struggled for food at all. And this is somebody seemingly in the same kingdom that he's a part of or runs. And it's I've never struggled at all in my life. I've been gifted this kind of food, gourmet chefs are making me food every day. And this child is struggling to eat and cooking up grasshoppers and frogs and stuff. So at least that was my take. I think Larry did a good job kind of breaking it down.
Because I only bring it up because it's interesting to me. Because if you even look at the area that Brook is at, the comparison when the king eats the fruit when he has that electric shock, whatever, you see where Brook is at. The area is not big, actually. It's not that humongous compared to what Luffy and the garbage heap that they were at. They almost a small, other people live there. Brook says he's the only one in this condition. And now he brings up his mother, his father, and his brother, which we even know he had a brother. And they don't clarify. We're assuming they are gone. They passed. And Brook is the only one who survived. But again, what happened to them? That because they never said that Brook always been in poverty. It could have been something happened where he lost his father and his mother and his brother that led him to this trash heap.
I definitely had the same thought process as you, Larry, regarding King Reuven or Prince Reuven's flashback there. I will say, in my mind, man, you offer me gourmet meals every day and princesses and things, bro. He wildin' being down here in Brook, bro. That's where I'm at mentally. I did think the same thing as Lionel as far as Brook. It reminded me of some of the other kingdoms in One Piece. Oda tends to recycle some things. It seems like Brook is kind of having a lot of similar story beats of other flashbacks. Even the King Reuven seemingly eating the food and acting like it was pretty good is a nod to other things that have happened in One Piece in the past. Sanji's mom, Zoro, with the little girl. I did notice the Brook talking about his little brother. Maybe that is just the song, but maybe he did actually have a brother that died, which is sad. His mom and dad don't seem to be around at all. He's getting beaten off of the school that he was trying to listen to. It's just, pretty sad stuff for One Piece, but pretty standard. I'm wondering what Ruven was doing out here. He heard Brook. I wonder if he had some sort of argument with the actual king currently or whatever, but he's in the scrap heap area. Maybe Brook was really loud and maybe he was just walking to town and pulled up on him. As far as their interactions, I think that's pretty cool. He does look much older than 21. I like that in One Piece they call people old man and then Brook's switching up to calling him bro. I know Oda does a lot of found family in the series. It does seem like this is going to be Brook's found family, at least for a time, basically through his 20s. So that's pretty cool. I wonder how Brook gets to be incorporated directly into the family, into the royalty. We kind of get maybe a gauge of that a little later in the chapter, but last chapter we saw him and he becomes a battle convoy. So really interested in see how that goes. It's pretty cool. I didn't have too much, but again, I don't know if I would have been in this trash heap with Brook if I was able to live the life that Ruven was living.
One thing I want to add, it's funny that Lionel said Prince Ruven kind of resembled a little bit of Rocks, and kind of Blackbeard, like because the hair. That's what Lionel said, right? But it's funny he mentioned that because if you compare Kid Brook, he looks very similar to Baby Blackbeard, I guess.
He does.
This is racism.
He looks
best, bro.
and
it's reverse racism because y'all black. Y'all saying other black kids look like other black kids, bro.
Yo, I went to.
Not
I was
all
actually
black
looking at
kids
something
look
else.
the same, bro.
No, I'm not gonna lie. If you look at an old picture of Aokiji, looking a little similar as well.
He too young to be little bro that we was talking on, but hey, man.
Yo, imagine
Brook showing his real love for music, started really, really young, that he just took to it, and then also too, getting chased out of here. And I know you guys all brought up too about the poverty situation back then, and we're seeing running where you have a kingdom that has this section that's not being taken care of, and to me, it made me think of dang, another, because I wasn't saying I wasn't expecting this from Brook, but this is another straw hat. We talked about earlier. This is another straw hat itself that grew up with similar means, right? And I started thinking, which straw hat did it? And the only ones, it's funny because the ones that we know that didn't fully have this, their upbringing was a little more tamed. Usopp was one, but then also too, he lost, his father left and his mother passed. But he wasn't necessarily in a kingdom. He was in a village, but it was more tame. He didn't really experience that much until when Luffy showed up and Captain Krill tried taking over, right? But that's when he kind of really suffered it because he himself made himself this boy who cried wolf, this liar that would say something and tell a story. But they weren't, it wasn't like that. And you could kind of also, the other person is kind of Zoro, but then again, he lost his parents very young. He was on his own. What not saved Zoro from this one is that because he went to a dojo to practice swordsmanship. So his upbringing was almost the same, but then he went there. So he was kind of taken care of because he was part of that dojo. But besides that, almost every single Straw Hat had this similar upbringing. And it's funny because they're the liberators that fighting for it. I guess anyway, try to make sure people don't get this too. What happened?
So, Lawrence, you actually just made me think of Jimbe and Brook almost have the same backstory. They both lived in the slums, joined a kingdom, then eventually became pirates, then became Straw Hats. That's literally their past.
And you also want to add to it, they were the right-hand man to their captain, then eventually became their own captain, and then eventually became a Straw Hat. They have the same exact upbringing. Brook and Jimbe. That is funny.
Yeah, I'm so fresh like the morning. Mouth wide open like they yawning. Every time they see me, they in G-Shock. Homie, this is too far. Homie, I feel too alive. You can see me like Illuminati. You can see me like Illuminati. But I'm shining so bright, so bright. Don't come and try to share some of this light now. Give me a beat and I control it like a maestro. Ladies on a mission, they be trying to get me wiped up. Shawty, wait a minute, can't tell if I like ya. Gotta make sure you know how to shake it like a bartender. Team with me and they all winners. And you know we ballin' all winners.
And also, Brook experiencing this and singing out loud, not caring about the king, saying we need a new king, kind of blaming the king. In a way, it is because, for example, the king is the ruler of this island. So in a way, he can make this situation better. He can dictate how the impoverished is treated. Granted, obviously, this is Reuven's father that's ruling right now because he's the prince, right? But it's all right, there needs to be a change here because I'm living like this. I actually give a lot of respect for Prince Reuven and what he's doing here. One, it shows a lot of humility here, but it reminds me of one of those ruling figures that kind of disguise themselves as one of the locals to see how the locals are living to, in a way, better take care of them. Because you can see what's needed. You're going to hear the truth from what behind those words. It even says right here, those are terrible lyrics. But this is the reality of the situation. This is how this kid is living. And he's sharing his thoughts truthfully. Yo, I'm living like this. My parents, my little bro, all whatever, we're all living like this. And they resulting in passing of it or living sick. We're all skidding. He's making that song about skidding bones. He's I'm alive and I'm already skidding bones because I'm not eating. He's seeing this. The fact that he's reflecting too, that like what he was kind of born into, what he's able to eat on a daily basis. I'm enjoying all this luxury when I have people in my own country, like this little boy, 11-year-old who's got born into this, and he has to eat this just to thrive or survive. I have to eat this. Where he's eating other stuff. So it's like it moved his heart where he kind of like, hopefully he does more when he becomes king. He ends up changing it. That would be dope. I would be something I would really want to see Prince Reuven do when he becomes king.
You're right
in that aspect.
I didn't realize he said this. The king said, I can't really say his name. This is Esperia too.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he said that.
Yeah, exactly. So he's reflecting on. So yeah, exactly. So he's reflecting on what he's experienced living in the same country, and he's a prince. So hopefully we see moves in that in the future. The fact that even the Brook, it shows it too, his heart, calling him bro, whatever. But even to the point where like he's offering his the little means that he has, he's like, you don't even got to pay me for it. Just because you spend time with me, whatever. You're my bro now. I'm gonna give this to you for free. And clearly he's an older man. He could have the money. Obviously, Brook doesn't know that he's a prince yet. But the fact that he probably thinks he's an older man, he could be working. He could give him something. But Brook's not willing to even take something from him. He's like, no, I'll give it to you free. Showing Brook's heart and everything. And then sharing a bottle of alcohol with an 11-year-old is crazy. Lock him up.
Nah, man.
What is wrong with you?
You can't say all that stuff you was just saying about he's a good king and all that and be mad that he drinking with the 11-year-old, man.
Yo, that is wild, bro. He's like, we both had hard times to try to drink with an 11-year-old is absolutely crazy.
One thing I keep wondering is like, what was the Prince of Esperia doing in the trash dumps of his own kingdom in the first place, bro? Of all the places he could have been, what led him there? Whatever the reason, I think this scene says a lot about the kind of man Ruven is. When he sees Brook and the way he lives, he's clearly affected. The reality that a child in his kingdom has to survive on frogs, grasshoppers, and stolen curry powder just to make his meals edible genuinely hits him. What stands out to me is that Ruven doesn't react with disgust when he could have. He knows exactly what he's eating, yet he swallows it without complaint because he doesn't want Brook to feel embarrassed, bro. Like, he didn't want Brook to feel pitied or lesser than. Then after the meal, he even offers to pay Brook for both the food and music. I thought that was really honorable. I can say that. Those are the actions of someone with integrity as well and humility. He's not the stereotypical detached royal who has no idea of how his people live. I mean, he's compassionate, self-aware, and willing to put himself in uncomfortable situations to better understand the world around him, I'm guessing. Based on this flashback alone, it's easy to see why he likely grew into a great king, if he is one. That's also me guessing. But I can't imagine him being a bad king at this point. Unless he just rules terribly, but he might be like, oh, he rules terribly because he gave too much food to somebody and there's not enough food for the kingdom, you know? At the same time, though, his behavior also raises a question about his father and the state of Esperia before Ruven took the throne. If conditions were bad enough for Brook to be living like this, how much responsibility falls on his dad? Which made me... It's not comparable, but it made me think of Drum Kingdom with Wapol and his dad. Because if I remember correctly, Wapol's dad was a really good king, an amazing king. Meanwhile, Wapol was just a terrible king. He was super terrible, the complete opposite, right? The country had fallen when he came into power. So it reminded me of that. But I feel the same way as Lawrence, yo. I know I'm praising Ruven like crazy, but I do have to acknowledge that this man definitely turned around and shared alcohol with an 11-year-old. I mean, maybe I should dial back on the good king agenda just a little bit.
It's a good man, Savannah.
It's a good king, Savannah.
Good man.
You guys remember when I spoke about how Brook was always destined to be a Straw Hat? Luffy was in Goa Kingdom in the trash dumps. So is Brook. Brook jumps in front of the sun, does a Nika pose. Luffy does sort of the same thing. He's Nika. He's also, I know we have different definitions for like the importance of Straw Hats in certain categories. I might be on the wave that Brook is probably or always was meant to be undoubtedly a Straw Hat, where I could see like Zoro, even though his relationship is with Luffy and he's like considerably the best Straw Hat. I can see him not being as much of a Straw Hat as much as Brook. And I know that's like a hard hot take, but I truly feel that now. There's way too many similarities between him and Luffy. Way too many. And Brook kind of holds like, even getting capped. Oh, I wasn't going to say it, but even at the end of the chapter, very similar to how Luffy and the Blue Jam Pirates were. Yeah, so I don't want to spoil it, but that's what I'm basically saying. It's like, there's so many connections to Brook and Luffy, and it's crazy.
Even Luffy's first crewmate that he was looking for was a musician.
Yeah.
Right. I forgot all about that. You are absolutely correct. That was the first person he wanted to recruit.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Seb cooked with that one.
It was funny. Just Brook's also a swordsman, so just he's killing 2 birds with 1 stone right there.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I think Brook for Straw Hat he's probably the most faded Straw Hat, I would say, out of all of them. Because any other could have just walked away. You know, it took a lot for the others to just become one. Meanwhile, he became one like that, like nothing needed.
And I think he's the only one in that way too, where like the only one that was just asked. He's like, okay, yeah, I'll do it.
Well, he's the only one that didn't have any sort of other responsibility.
He's been wandering
They
for
all
50
had
years.
something else going on.
It's crazy, and the least amount of time with the Straw Hats too. The least amount.
No.
Well, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Jimbe, but yeah.
Yeah.